NVIDIA earnings came out yesterday, and they were, go figure, they were better than expected. NVIDIA earnings, again, we pointed this out. If you're somebody who watches indices, this was the event. This was the main event of the week. And it did not fail to deliver. You might say, well, Nick, where's NVIDIA's daily candle? I'm pulling it up and I see that there's no candle for May of, oh, wait a second. It's up in the pre-market, 7%. Wow. Congrats to NVIDIA holders. There was a gentleman on the stream yesterday. He said he bought one share just to watch the event. Of course, I don't encourage anybody to just buy shares of NVIDIA and just gamble into the earnings, but it was somebody in our comment section, and he was very transparent. He's like, I am aware this is foolish, but I'm just going to buy a share and watch what happens. And, to each their own. That turned out to be a great little gamble, because NVIDIA is flying high here in the pre-market. We are staring down the barrel of a 10 handle on NVIDIA, trading at 1,015 per share. They also announced a 10-for-1 stock split. Now, if you don't know what that means that everybody who owns one share of NVIDIA will be receiving 10 shares, and they're going to slash the price in 10. So why are they doing that? Well, because $1,000, they're wise to their audience. A lot of people don't have $1,000 to buy a stock. Some people just invest bits and pieces into many different stocks, and so maybe they don't have $1,000 sitting around to just put into one stock. Fractional shares are available on some brokers like WeBull, which is one of our supportive groups here. If you are not already using WeBull, maybe we can drop the link to them. That's what I personally use to trade. But NVIDIA, again, if you are looking to trade NVIDIA and $1,000 is too high, they've come up with a solution with that. NVIDIA announced that they are going to be doing a 10-for-1 stock split, which means that, again, their share price will get taken down to $101. Same valuation of the company, et cetera, et cetera. What pair is that? This is not a pair. This is a company. It's a stock. So pairs are currencies only. Gold is not really a pair. Indices are not pairs. They're, if you see them on a Forex broker, they're a CFD. You see them on futures. They're just futures contracts. You can trade ETFs of indices. S&P 500 up 0.67% as we kick off the day. I am still long the S&P 500 and sticking true to my plan with my options trading strategy. I entered into the S&P 500 on this pullback by selling a cash secured put. I got assigned that position, and then market has ripped and I've continued to hold it. But now that we've broken through the highs, and with this candle here today, I think I am going to go look at potentially selling a covered call against my position. That just means I own the shares and I write a call or sell a call for profit, for premium above the current price. I'm not sure where I'm going to do that. I haven't decided on that, but I will be watching that. You got the NASDAQ up just shy of 1%. Even the Dow up, 0.36% on the day. And the Russell bouncing back a little bit. Here in the pre-market, the FTSE, flat on the day. The DAX kind of up. The Nikkei, a little bit of recovery there. And look at that, guys. The VIX tapping on the door to 11 VIX. That is crazy.
Did you know that we have 100% free trading tools and data available for you on our website, a1trading.com, right now? We have free courses for you to browse. You can also check out things like retail sentiment and free articles from our analyst Frank that include things like Edgefinder screenshots and trade setups. You can find all of this and so much more for free right now on our website, a1trading.com.
Now, I don't know if you guys know this, but the VIX is the suggestion of how much the market thinks the S&P 500 will move in the coming year. It's like a rough estimate of how much does the market think in terms of volatility going forward there is to the market. Now, I will also say this. A lot of times people take the VIX as just a purely contrarian indicator. When the VIX is really low, you want to bet against the market, or you want to long volatility, etc. But understand this. So I think maybe if you're trading volatility, that might be a better play. But trying to short the market when the VIX is very low is actually an incredibly difficult thing to do. And historically, during periods where you see the low VIX, the market does actually continue to trend higher. Not always and not with certainty, but usually when you see higher elevated VIX readings, the NASDAQ, the S&P 500 are more under pressure. And when they're very, very low, concerns are low and the market tends to drift higher. We got unemployment claims coming out in 5 minutes. Absolutely. Let's take a look at some data here for those of you guys who are watching the dollar. If you're watching oil, if you're watching indices, currencies, should be an interesting morning here. Let's take a look at some labor data. The latest, of course, being from the NFP side is that we had a miss in jobs data. So today's unemployment claims do actually carry some weight to them. The latest claims have been kind of trending higher. Let me see if I can just expand let's do 180 days back, see if that works. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so here's claims over time. And you can see that unemployment claims here. I should add something. This should have a little bit of a K next to it because these are in thousands. But little side note. In fact, give me a second, guys. Whenever I see something, I've made this point many times, so apologies to my friends who are regulars on the show who see me do this. Claims, add a K to denote thousands. Okay. On unemployment claims data, add a K next to the number to denote that the values represent thousands. Okay, sorry about that. So behind the scenes, we have like a project management for the development of the Edge Finder. And anytime I see something on the live stream, if I don't immediately write it down somewhere, my problem is I will then forget to make that mention and the change will not happen. So we're going to make that change. Just a small note, but worth mentioning. Anyways, so unemployment claims recently have been starting to make a move higher. You know, at one point we were just very, very low 200,000s, right? Now we've been recently seeing more claims like 231, 222, 212, 207. So just a mild increase there. But the question is, how much is that going to increase? Is it going to continue to increase? And that is really the question. When you trade on WeBull, do you get dividends? I do. In fact, I recently got a nice like $400 dividend for holding TLT. I cannot complain about that. Hold on, let me unmute my screen here. Can't complain about that. Right? Everybody loves dividends. It's kind of an interest payment, but TLT pays it in the form of a dividend. Unemployment claims coming out here in 30 seconds. Forecast is for 220,000 unemployment claims to come in. Again, there's that K that I mentioned. All right. Not much of a reaction here, 10 seconds after the tone here. So probably going to suggest that not a big change from expected. Okay, slightly better than expected. 215,000 unemployment claims compared to the forecasted 220,000. Not so bad. We'll take that. Okay, so unemployment claims came in just slightly lighter than expected. If anything, that is good for the dollar. Remember, the idea being that if more people are filing for unemployment, that would suggest a weaker U.S. economy. And if less people are filing for unemployment, that would suggest a strength in the U.S. economy. I'd like to see gold form a bit of a bottom. I'd like to see it bounce back. If that does, kind of form, I am still bullish on gold. But gold might be telling us that we've had our fun with it. I made a lot of money on this move here recently, But with the breakdown, it may be party's over for now. So we'll continue to watch it. But again, I am bullish overall gold. I'm just waiting for price action to kind of agree with my sentiment as well. Speaking of my sentiment is derived from primarily, predominantly, majorly, significantly, solely from the Edge Finder. So the Edge Finder, when it comes to economic data, is scanning all of the different features that we talk about. You know, if you're here and you're kind of like you pop into the streams here and there, you tune in, you watch what's going on, but you're not like super invested in this stuff. Please understand that we have dedicated so much time and energy into kind of fundamentals. But what I've found spending all that time trying to understand better fundamentals is just how incredibly hard it is to fully understand them just off the top of your head. US oil is right there. It's currently giving it a bearish reading. And it is a setup I kind of like if we do get a little bit more squeeze to the upside. Again, also all that to say, if you do want to try out the software, if the Edge Finder seems like it could help you in learning, improving in fundamentals, consider taking our 30-day application trial here. We'll send the link here in the chat for you. So oil, to me still looks like it's got some bearish momentum from a price action standpoint, but also the recent slowdown in economic data, as again shown visually. We can go here and we can say, let's go to just oil for a second, and let's just look at the oil score independently. So GDP, PMI data, retail sales, inflation, unemployment rate, and employment change, as well as interest rates, all kind of point towards a struggle on the demand side for oil. So with that said, with struggle on the demand side for oil, that's going to keep me on the bearish side for now, unless you start seeing, you know, outperformance again, like real big surprises in economic data from the US. I'm gonna keep a bearish view on oil on jumps in price. So if we see price maybe squeeze up into this high 79, 80 level area, I think I might take another short attempt. Yes, it's kind of consolidating. Yes, it's kind of sideways, but I like the lower highs overall. I like the fundamentals. So I'm going to continue to watch oil as a possible setup for the rest of the week and possibly take a short position if it does give me a jump in price. So I'm watching oil pretty close.
Basically, euro and US dollar is definitely on my watch list because I'm seeing this nice clean descending. So I'm usually very zoomed into price action. And when I see these dotted lines consecutively being broken, so 1, 2, 3, 4 times, that's a really good sign that the market will reverse in the opposite direction. So I like the simples right here, and I am looking for some buy setups. It's got some good momentum, so I'm looking for a potential flag or a potential pullback break and a retest of the high. That would be even better than a flag. So Euro US dollar has definite potential, and I'm definitely looking for some buy setups.
So yeah, I'm not looking at the pound, but I'm looking at Euro USD, and I actually just missed my level this morning. I was looking for a buy on a retest of this level here, and it just missed it, like half a pip or so. I draw it to the wick. So I'm actually waiting to see if we can come back down and retest that zone and look for my entries. But I'm looking at upside for Euro. Had a really nice breakout last week off some news, and now I'm looking at this as a pullback for another buy back to the high. I also do like gold and silver, who of course have had some big moves to the downside this week, and I'm looking to see if we can form that next higher low. I'm looking at gold potentially. It's a bit of a big move, but potentially 22.84. If we could see a move back down there, I'll be happy to pick up some long. Same thing with silver as well. But silver, actually, I like the retest of the high here, and we're not too far away from that. I think maybe Friday we might see a move into that area, and then I will be on the lookout for some long opportunities. So I'm waiting to see what we can get there. And I also do like NZD/USD for some longs. Should we pull back into the zone? Right now it's kind of just consolidating. So being patient, wait to see if we can make that move and then some buys. But I'm kind of short-term bearish on the dollar, but long-term, the market's quite corrective. So I'm kind of a little bit more patient from that. But I'm looking to see if we can maybe see some weakness from the dollar and upside for euro and USD.
Yeah, and again, I was going to ask you about the dollar index itself, because you mentioned silver pulling back, and dollar index looks like it's teetering here. It's been really struggling recently. Also, we had a donation, 100 rupees in the chat. Thank you so much, Priyan. Dear Nick, get some pain relief for your neck pain. Yeah, maybe I'll go buy some Advil. Thanks for that. So let's take a look. I was going to ask you guys about metals next. You already did silver, Miko, but maybe Marco, what do you think about gold here? Dollar index, you if you want to take a look at the dollar index first as part of your analysis, feel free to do so. But I was just curious, dollar index here looks like it's been pulling back, as Miko just showed you, kind of putting in those lower highs on the 4-hour chart. I'm wondering your thoughts on the dollar index and gold itself.
Sure. So let me take a look. The DXY on the 1 hour looks pretty flat, so we'll have to bump it to the daily, let's say. Let's do 4 hour. On the 4 hour, sure, definitely moving down, but very correctively, in my opinion. I'm not seeing those nice impulsive legs when we break the major lows. Overall, yes. So my bias is for this to go down. And then for gold, let me check that one out. Oh, looks like it's breaking down right now. So daily showing some major selling pressure. Again, we just took out this high, retraced, closed below it, and now we're getting some major selling pressure. So yes, I do expect this to go down, but maybe also kind of range around in the general area. Something like Bitcoin has been doing, right? So ranging around these highs. 4 hour selling pressure, and the 1 hour is going to be even more selling pressure. Yeah, so seeing some momentum, but this is kind of what I don't like to see, especially in Forex pairs. For me, this is really descending on this smaller scale, because when the price breaks the lows, I want to see momentum. I want to see a nice signature of momentum. Like this is a good example. Continuous bullish or bearish candles. This would be a good example as well. Or maybe even this one right here. And right now I'm seeing a bit of a descending structure. So on this very short-term chart on the 1 hour, I would not be surprised if we get a reversal like this, because this for me is a textbook descending channel, and these are very likely to reverse. Again, I don't have much experience with gold, but in Forex, these are what I hunt basically. I wait for these exact kind of structures. I find the signature of a bullish impulse, and then I look for a buy setup.
So how would you look to trade that market?
So how would I trade this?
Yeah, how would you try and anticipate that break higher?
So I would wait for a break of this line right here. That is my most recent high, and if I get a candle that has a close above it with a nice clean close, doesn't print a wick, well then it's game on to look for a flag, or let's say a break and a retest. So I need this most recent high line to be broken with some strong momentum. That is the key.
Okay.
Yeah, that's always interesting just to hear, the different ways we enter, because I think Marco, you tend to be more like on the 1 hour chart. Usually that's your go-to, and then I think Miko's more like 4 hour, and then I'm like daily and 4 hour. Yep. I think, well, Miko, you use the daily as well, but just curious, when it comes to gold pulling back, I'm sure there's a lot of people wondering what the lower time frames look like, as well as, I'm aware, I think most people actually, chat, let me ask the chat really quick. Do you guys swing trade or do you day trade more often? Day traders are probably using more like the 15-minute, 30-minute, maybe the 1 hour. And then swing traders, I would say, are 1 hour, 4 hour daily charts. 1 hour is like kind of the middle ground. I think that's in between day and swing trading. Miko, what are your thoughts on gold? Pulling back here recently. I know you mentioned silver, but what do you think on gold?
So yeah, gold, I'm expecting more upside. Not the biggest fan of the break we had higher, like Marco was mentioning, the fact that we just took out the high and came straight back down, also quite sharply as well. I think in the bigger picture, the trend is still very much up. We're still seeing a lot of momentum to the upside. Yes, we're failing at the highs, but I would still expect price to respect levels of support. So this area in particular, I will definitely keep an eye out for some buy opportunities should we get there. In terms of the current price action, this momentum, it's a little bit too impulsive for me to jump straight in, especially because I'm not really seeing much significance in the levels here. I mean, this area we could see a bounce, but I'm not sure that's enough for me to jump into any trades, especially for a swing. We may see a reaction there, but I wouldn't necessarily expect it to keep going. It could do, of course, but I would bet I'll have a bit more luck down that low. So I'm still looking for buy opportunities on both gold and silver, but I think for gold I like to see a bit more downside, and I'll focus a bit more on the present moment with silver because I like this level here, whereas gold, this is my main area of interest, but still overall bullish.
Sure. Yeah, thanks for breaking that down. And again, I think gold is an interesting one because it really was moving with so much momentum. You could see that momentum seems to be, at least for now, fading back the other direction. Broke a key level of support that I was watching both at the 2380 and 2395, let's call it. Once we broke back into the 2400s, it seems like it's been kind of a sell frenzy. How long will that go on? I don't know. I think that, to be honest, the factors towards gold bullishness are still very much there fundamentally, but I'll probably wait for the price action to show signs of bottoming out because it could make a push lower. I ended up trading this thing from back in February. I rode it all the way up, and then I made some money on the long side. I closed out, re-entered, rode it up again. So even though I took a loss, I made a gain on the 3 entries that I made on the way up. I added another one yesterday and got smacked down. So that's usually my sign. If I've had such a good win streak on something and then what was working stops working, it's time to just, ring the register, if you will, and move past it. Other things that have not been going so well for me include things like Bitcoin. I told you guys I tried to short Bitcoin. That was a fable, a huge mistake. And then I also tried to short oil once, but I think I might try that again. So I have some things that are setting up. I'm watching, I'm looking for a possible sell on oil, looking for a possible buy on the euro, which I think we all kind of indicated some interest in that. We'll see if that one sets up. But again, for now, gold, I'm just going to step to the side and take profits on the recent move that it's had.
Did you know we do a live trading show Monday through Friday with guests from all over the world? To get notified when we go live, click the bell button next to the subscribe button or check in at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time. We have helpful, free content in the description below and on our website, a1trading.com. Thanks for watching today's video, and we'll see you tomorrow.